Hi, Karima. Could you hear me, Karima? Could y'all hear me?
I can hear you. It just came up on the Zoom.
Karima, was you able to hear me? I can't hear you, Karima. Greg, could you hear me?
Yeah.
So Karima, oh, I can, but can't hear you, Karima. I see your lips moving.
I had it on mute.
What? The one you caught?
I'm about to put it back on mute.
Okay.
That's only 8 people.
I started inviting people at 4:30. I usually do 4, but I'm about to start inviting some more people. But 8 people could have a conversation. Right, Ms. Mungeon?
Elaine, who you talking to?
Greg,
Wow.
had light skin with her.
You got your shit?
where you at, Karima? You at the event? Karima, you at the farm? Where you at, Karima? Let me make myself.
He was there.
Boy, you got a couple customers.
He comes.
Karima, where you at?
So you just had a Hassan.
He sure was
You
claiming.
just had a Hassan.
A cookout.
Oh. Karima, how did your event turn out yesterday? All right, what time is it? Okay, we're gonna start in 4 minutes, y'all. Hey, Dime. Fatima.
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes,
come on,
yes.
open us up.
Heavenly Father, we come before you, first of all, giving thanks for this day, oh God. Thank you for having each and every person on this call on the wake up list. We ask that you be in the midst of this Zoom healing through trauma conversation. We ask that it be used to help someone or to help someone help someone. We ask that you just heal the hearts and minds of anyone that's going through anything. We ask that you just be in the midst of it. We will forever, ever give your name all the glory and all the honor. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. I'm steady looking at Karima at this event. So you know what? Last week, so I was kind of in a funk today, so I wasn't going to do the Zoom. But then I said, you know what? I'm not even going to do that because somebody like me might need just to have some encouragement or whatever, right? But I wanted to talk about last week. I was watching this movie. I can't even think of the name, but it was about Alzheimer's, right? And how their loved ones got Alzheimer's and dementia, and they was working through it. And it took me back to, I want to say my first experience with trauma would be with my grandmother, my father's mother. She had got Alzheimer's and I was living with her. And as I was watching the movie, I realized that, wow, that was my first experience with trauma. Because even though it's like she disappeared right before my eyes, right? She started off with, she left the house, somebody got a call and said my grandmother was at the supermarket, the A&P on Clinton Avenue, and she didn't have any shoes on. So that's how it started. She would leave out the house. So then I went and I stayed with her for a while. This is my father's mother. And one day I woke up in the middle of the night and she had fire. She had lit some paper and she was looking at the paper. And I was like, okay, it's going too far now. So me and my dad, we talked about it, and he put her in it was New Community at the time. So I guess I would have to say it was a nursing home. So he put her away in New Community, and I would go see her. And as time went on, she did not know who I was. And I'm talking to her, and y'all, my spirit was so broken. So I convinced myself, I said, you know what? I'm not going to see her no more. And I stopped for about a week. And then, while I was going to visit her, she had a roommate and her name was Burley. I remember her so well. A little old, frail little woman. And she didn't have no legs and she was blind. And when we would be there visiting my grandmother, because I would have my kids with me, I would talk to Burley. And she would talk to me about how, the nursing home was, and if you didn't have people there to visit you, they mistreat you. The people would fall and get hurt and they would say, oh, they fell out the bed. So looking back at that movie, it brought some kind of pain to me because I realized that, wow, that was my first form of trauma. And even though I stopped going to visit her for a week, I then realized that, okay, if I don't go see her, then nobody else will go see her and they'll mistreat her. And so I had to start back. Eventually she died. She moved to another one and she died. And the day they died, they called us up to the hospital, me and my father, and we went and sat there till the morgue came and took her out. But that just showed me that even back then, even with Alzheimer's, dementia is a form of trauma for the family, for the loved ones, because they are gone. Like my grandmother wasn't my grandmother anymore. And it when I say it depressed me, because I'm sitting there and I'm talking to my grandmother, she don't know who I am. Like she was angry. I had to feed her. And so I just wanted to touch on that. Like when we say that trauma is just not violence, just not murder. Trauma is you can have a form of cancer. You could be depressed. Depression is trauma. It's traumatic to your loved ones. And so I just wanted to open that up today with, sometimes you got to look at our loved ones, and sometimes if our loved ones, because a lot of our elders have dementia or have Alzheimer's, even though it's a traumatic experience, you still got to be there for your loved ones. I realized it. I was with her all the way to the end, but maybe I needed some counseling on that note, because I had to look back and realize that, was that my first form of traumatic experience? And it was. And then it was my brother's murder. But so I just wanted to open up for that. if anybody would like to share on their experience or traumatic experience, because this group is formed too. It's called Healing Through Trauma. We have some new people on, and it's Healing Through Trauma, right? Because our community, our village, I like to call it a village. Our village is filled with a lot of trauma, right? If we're going to talk about the school system right now, there's a lot of children fighting, right? Let's look at Buffalo, how the man went in there and shot up all the Black people, and there was one Black white person, and he killed them. Look at the KIPP school in Newark, where the first grader came and brought a gun to school, and he told 4 of his friends, and out of the 4 friends, only 1 child told, and they told the teacher, he said he had a mask, and he was going to shoot the teacher. It's a lot of trauma that we are dealing with. So would anyone like to open up and talk about a traumatic experience, or how they getting through experience?
I have a question, Elaine. So when your grandmother was going through the Alzheimer's, because my grandmother had Alzheimer's too, but she the medication was it worked for her. So did your grandmother, were they giving her medication, or it was past the medication stage?
Well, they was giving her medication, and so I guess the more they gave her the medication, I don't think it worked, because then she started losing. She didn't know who we were, right?
And see, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
So my grandmother, she never like forgot who we were. It like only time it would like be bad where she would do stuff that was off. Like if she got a cold and they like gave her medicine, whatever medicine she was on, the cold medicine or whatever didn't react. It was like it knocked all of that away. So I think the first time we found out that my grandmother had Alzheimer's, she lived on Freeland Heights and Avenue in the senior citizens building, and she had left out the house without no clothes on. Like she wasn't naked, but she had like her underwear or something like that or whatever. And like you, I was really close with my father's mother, and I said it in my mind from the beginning. I'm like, if she stopped remembering who I am, I can't go see her. Now she, fortunately we had, family. She lived with my aunt, but even if she was staying with my aunt, I wouldn't have been able to go see her, because that would have like broke my heart for her to not know who I am. And, she knew me before I knew myself. So, it's like that was a good thing to bring up, because it is very traumatizing. You know what I'm saying? When you see your family member go through the Alzheimer's or cancer, or, any of those illnesses, because it's like we automatically want to help, and it's nothing that we can do. It's just going to go through what, so yeah, that can definitely be a traumatizing thing. And like I said it from the beginning. If she don't, the day when right before she died, she was in the hospital, and I went to see her, and I just kept saying to her, you know who I am? You know who I am? And she, she like, yeah, I'm like, who am I? And she said who I was. So I was so happy about that, and I'm like this, yeah, I ain't gonna be able to deal with this. So yeah.
So the catch is, and what we saying to people, if you have loved ones that are experiencing that, you got to toughen up. Because I could have left. It's plenty of times that she fell, so they say. So once the lady Burley was like, oh, they hitting her, because sometimes they get angry and sometimes they don't want to take the medicine. And the lady said that, so I knew I had to toughen up. And so that just the reason that I brought it up, because it just made me realize that I was in denial. Like even with Greg therapy, when he was going through therapy at University Hospital, he had a group session for the family. It took me forever to say that I was traumatized. I just looked at it saying, oh, I'm traumatized. It was like something weak, right? Like I'm too strong to say that I'm traumatized. But now that I look back, I was traumatized from that. I was traumatized from my brother's death. I was traumatized from Greg, Eric. So a lot, we just got to accept it, right? Me and my family, we didn't do counseling. But I did start joining a Wednesday group. I did it a couple of times, but I stopped. But sometimes counseling work. To each his own. And so I'm just saying that if you have loved ones that's going through, you just got to be there for them. And so that was that. Is there someone else that would like to speak? RJ, welcome to Healing Through Trauma. Would you like to say something, RJ? I like to call people out. I mean, hi, RJ.
Hello. I think that, as you were saying, trauma is definitely something that it hits home. You know, we all go through things. It's interesting you should say, talk about counseling because after my grandfather passed in 2016, he passed away from pancreatic cancer.
Mm.
And I would say for me, I dealt with it differently than most would because he passed away in October, and I was just dealing with my father's father passing away in April. So I lost both my grandfathers in the exact same year, within months of each other. And you see what that strain is like. You see what it's like to just go through the doctor's appointments, and it seems like they're deteriorating right before your eyes. So, and I get what you mean on what her name is, Queen Bee. I get what she means when she says she didn't want to be around if her name wasn't known. That's real. It's really real, and it definitely hits home. So just being I thank you for the invitation. You send it to me, and I watch, and I'm like, oh man, I forgot. I'm looking at it at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Oh, it's over. But no, trauma is real. It definitely affects each and everyone differently, and it's good to have a forum like this to be able to discuss it and just get support. Whether it's support to go through the situation, just knowing that there's others going through it. That's the first step. The first step is acknowledging it, and then how do you heal through it?
So Gordine, because you substitute, right?
Mhm.
Because I also touched on that too. Since you substitute and you deal with the children in the school, have you? How do they deal with trauma? How do your students deal with it? Or do you feel like they're going through trauma? Because even with the pandemic, it's a lot on these children.
I think, all right, so honestly speaking, so I'm a sub. I work with pre-K 3 through 8th, and you touched on the first grade student. I've been working with the district since 2016, all happened the same year. So yeah, I've been working with the district since 2016, and I think that the kids are not taught how to deal with trauma. So in the beginning of the school year, we're talking about a brand new school year where they've been most of them have been, stuck inside for a while. When it came to coming back to the schools, there were a lot of fights because you have a lot of language barriers. They don't know how to deal with the fact that they've been stuck in the house with people who speak their language, and now they're in the house and, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. There's sometimes not a lot of resources for the youth. So, they don't have access. There may be one guidance counselor for the entire school. And mind you, the guidance counselor is the person who's responsible for helping make sure that 8th graders are getting into high school, making sure that they're dealing with, sometimes they're dealing with children disputes. So I would say, staffing is really a problem when it comes to how the students are able to deal with their personal issues. Yeah. And it's sad because they reach out to someone like me because I'm a substitute. I have more freedom. I might be working with them during their lunch period, and then they may stay after school just to see what I'm talking about. Since I work with them in real talk, just giving them a platform to be able to speak their mind and what's out, that way they can, feel safe in sharing what their issues may be, and then working together to find the solutions.
Absolutely. So you know what? So Ashira, I'm going to call on Ashira. Ashira, I need you to unmute so you could talk, but you don't have to show your face if you don't want to. So I have Ashira up here. She's my mentee. I want to say she goes to university. I want to say, Ashira, are you in the 10th grade?
Yes, I am.
Okay, she should be in the 10th grade now. So Ashira, so this is the sweetest young lady ever, y'all. I just want y'all to know that. But Ashira, going to university, right? To school period, North Public School, and you come back from the pandemic after being home on a computer, and we talking about traumatic experience. I don't know if you ever had a traumatic experience, but could you tell us how is it going as a youth, a 10th grader, 16 years old? Let us into your world. Tell us how that's going.
So being that I couldn't get the full experience of my 9th grade year in school, it's kind of difficult because going back to school for 10th grade, you really don't know nobody. Mm-hmm. And it's also a lot of drama because coming from 8th grade, seeing your old friends that you used to have issues with or was dealing, with problems. It's like, wow, I didn't see you for my ninth grade year. Now, 10th grade year, you bringing up old stuff. It's kind of hard. And
Yeah.
then being that you go speak to a counselor or the principal or teacher, you don't really get the support or help you're looking for because they like to also engage in the drama with the students. So it's like
The
being in
counselor?
school, yes.
Wow.
So it's like being in school, you really don't have help. And then coming home, when you speak about it, it's like, wow, who can you really go to talk about your issues? So you really don't have nobody but yourself in school. So you just got to push, basically.
Wow. So Ashira, so even with the guidance counselor, okay, so I know that university, and it's not just university, it's all the other schools too. There were a lot of fights, right? So I know they were saying there was fights. The police was going up to the schools. And I was thinking maybe during the pandemic, you argue over over the Zooms and the different things. And so that's where all the anger come from. So if you as a 16-year-old in school, and I'm listening to what you're saying, then how will you get help? You will have to reach out to somebody. Now, I remember, I know you was going through something and your mom called me as far as your teacher, and we spoke to your teacher. But as a student, and maybe if you can say it to other students, what would be your help then? If you feel like the guidance counselors is creating more drama, then what's your out? How do you?
I feel as though like most students, they don't want to engage in the drama. They just want to be drama free. They want to get their work done and get out of school. So the students that don't want to be involved in any drama, we just all come together.
Mhm.
Like we just all stick together. And the students who like to be in drama, they stick together. So being that students don't have anybody to talk to, we just work as a team to get everything done. That's
And
basically all.
So how are your grades going?
My grades are pretty good. I go to lunch for tutoring. I stay after school if I need extra help, or I get on group FaceTime and we just work out all the work together.
That's good. Are you in any activities? You cheerleading, basketball, anything?
No, I actually do. I actually do volleyball, but the season is almost over. So.
Okay. So because you have joined before, but you never really talked, and I really want to thank you for talking. And so, as a 16-year-old Newark young lady on here, this is a village. So if you had to say something to us adults on this call and say like you crying out for help, if it was something that you needed us to know, what would you say to us to support the youth?
I would just say keep a lookout because most people want help, but they don't know how to express it or tell you. But some kids do show that they want help, but they don't know how to ask for help.
And so how do they show it?
They show it by either getting in trouble, fighting, arguing, disrespecting adults. Those are signs of wanting help because those are signs that I gave off that I needed help. So I just will tell adults, like, just watch out for, the minor things because kids do want help.
Wow. Is there anybody on here who would like to say anything to Ashira? Tiana, a young lady. Tiana, are you on?
Yeah. Hi, I'm on.
Hi. Did you hear Ashira?
I did.
And
I did.
so, and the reason I called on you because you were, Tiana is my cousin / goddaughter. And Tiana, what advice would you give Ashira, Tiana?
To keep doing what she's doing. It's always better to stay. It's always better to be known for doing good stuff than to get any type of acknowledgement for the bad things that you're doing, right? You always got to stay on the other side of what everybody else is doing. You got to pick your own lane and you got to stay there. And sometimes it may be boring and it may get hard to just stay there, and sometimes when you get in those spaces, you have to ask for help. But advocate for yourself in any type of situation that you're in, because as educators, we don't know right? We got our own stuff going on. And when we come in the building, we try our best sometimes to put our differences aside and our, traumas or whatever that we're going through to be the best we could for you guys. So whatever you're doing right now, I feel like if it's working for you, continue. But just know that sometimes that path of walking the straight and narrow gets lonely.
Yeah. Also, Ashira, so let me say what somebody said in the chat. So RJ said, I agree, many staff members fall into the drama as well, especially if they know the family or the student on a personal level. Karima said, would love to support her any way we could. Karima, this is actually the one that I wanted to, when y'all had the program for the Saturdays, I did give her the, sent her the link, but they didn't figure it out, fill it out, I guess. But Ashira, one thing I can say about Ashira, and I said it to her mother the other day that I love her, is Ashira is like the quiet girl that sits back. She's always home in the house. Sometimes I'll be talking to her, she home watching TV, and she got a great spirit. So Ashira, she did in the beginning, she used to call me when she was going through. She hasn't called or texted me about it lately. So I thought that you were doing better, Ashira. So I know Haas, which is a person, an aide from Central Ward. He was telling me, we was just talking the other day about, he comes to University High School with a group of boys. I think he said he may got like 5 boys that he come and mentor them. So maybe we're going to check into it. And Naeem, you can check into it because Naeem is really close with Ms. Hamilton from university. So we're going to check into it and see what we can do, offer. The first time I went into the schools to talk to the students, Ashira, you wasn't there, we chose university. And when I say, I took the parents of murdered children and Greg, and we spoke, and the children cried, and I asked them, if you was depressed, stand up. If you lost somebody close to you, stand up. By the time I finished, it was nobody really stand. I asked you if there was a bully, stand up, or if there was a victim of bullying. One boy said, I'm gonna stand up, I'm gonna be honest. He is a bully and he do victimize. He is a victim and he bully as well. And so I did that so the administration can see all the children that were standing there, all these children are hurt. And so, like you, Ashira, a lot of children are going through. I commend you, and I'm gonna say it again, I commend you for standing up, for when you do go through things, you do call me, we do talk it out. And so that's like Tiana said, you gotta stand, you gotta keep that same path. If it's other ones that you know that's going through that, like I was gonna start the Zoom for youth, even if we do healing through poetry, because I do write poetry. Maybe we can get some other ones to join, but it was an honor to hear from you. It was a pleasure to hear from a 16-year-old young lady, to see what they're going through in school. Is there someone else that would like to say anything? Thank you, Ashira. I see we have, you're welcome. I see we have a Jamil up here. We have Sheila Mungeon. If it's somebody on the phone, you can push *6 to unmute yourself, to share. We usually do like 2 hours, 3 hours. We're gonna try to get through the day. Today is beautiful. Karima is at a cookout. I do want everyone to know that there are, I work for the city of Newark. There are resources. Karima, if Karima want to unmute and you could tell what your organization, because I want to say, is it NAP? I don't know what the NAVC stand for. Karima, could you unmute?
It's NAVC.
Okay, so explain what's the name.
Newark Anti-Violence Coalition.
Okay.
And so they are trying to cease violence in the community through advocacy and, promoting self-love.
Mm-hmm.
But now we're moving on to doing referrals and assisting with homelessness or expungements, referrals for anything. But mainly they're known for doing rallies and marches and protests against people getting gunned down in the streets.
Okay, so the resources, do you do it according to, how do you get the people? Do they just come in? People?
Yeah, well,
them?
We have a 24-hour hotline numbers, 908-605 NAVC. And we answer the calls 24/7.
908-605.
NAVC.
Okay, I'll put it in the thing. Okay, so.
And we're recruiting young ambassadors. My daughter is one of them. She's a young youth ambassador, so we are recruiting.
And you recruit them to do what, Karima?
We just recruit them, whatever their interest is and knowledge is. We use that to help promote, whatever goodness we can within the community.
Okay, so do you have people, how do the community buy into that? Do you feel that they shun you? Because even with Office of Violence Prevention, so they got Office of Violence Prevention, right? Then they got the North Street Team, right?
Mhm.
So we have all these different, and there's other organizations. And so we have all these organizations, but we still have so much going on in our community. So do they buy into it? Do you see that? Or
I mean, they did, I would say a couple of years ago, but COVID is just like, seemed like mentally everybody is just like, it's just a whirlwind. But prior to when they family members were shot and killed, they used to call it NAVC. They wanted to do rallies. They wanted to hold vigils. So yeah, it was good. Plus we were out there more in the streets. We do community walks and we advertised a lot. But when COVID hit, everything was kind of like at a standstill. But we had secured a grant with another agency. So it was 3 community workers. We were out in the streets and I was able to expunge maybe like 5 or 6 people's records. So we were out there doing referrals, helping get furniture vouchers, helping domestic violence cases. So yeah, we were out there, but not as heavy as they were prior to COVID.
Okay, that's good.
But whatever skills anyone has, we're more than happy to utilize those skills.
Absolutely. Is there anybody have a question for Karima as far as what she just spoke about? I did put her the name and the number in the chat. No. Sheila Munjin, do you have anything to say? Thank you, Karima.
You're welcome.
Hey, Karima.
That was Tawanda.
Hey.
That's Tawanda,
Hey,
Karima.
Tawana, I got your gift. I'm sorry. I'm going to send it soon.
No
Tawanda,
worries.
you heard her?
Yes, I said no worries. Hey, Miss Lee, how are you, sweetie?
Hi, Tawanda, how are you? Would you like to share today, Tawanda?
The cat just got my tongue. Elaine, I love you, girl.
I love you too, Tawanda.
Don't put people on the spot like that. That's not nice. Elaine, I could say something.
Go ahead,
I could say
help
something.
here to share.
So-
Just help maybe
so today-
somebody. Wait, Tawanda. But listen, when I put people on the spot, I put them on the spot because maybe something you may say may touch somebody that's sitting there that don't want to say anything or just want to listen. And so that's why I do that, because you never know what you may say may help somebody today. Now, go ahead. What you want to say, Tawanda?
Well, I always say the same thing. Yeah, people already know that I'm still going through it with my mom. She just had a birthday. And believe it or not, I went to the grave. I sat there, I put flowers down. I sat there and did my work. I'm in school for my high school diploma. I graduated this June. I was fine. I was at ease, but I don't know what it is about Mother's Day. Mother's Day affects me so much. Her birthday doesn't bother me. So I don't know, I just wanted to share that I felt, a little at ease. And I know it takes time, as people always say, time heals all wounds. That's what they say. I don't know. It ain't put a bandage on mine yet. But I appreciate you, Miss Lee, and I appreciate that you allow me to speak and express my feelings. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
I have a question though, Tawanda. Have you ever, and I'm gonna say counseling to you, because I mean, how long your mother been passed?
Since 2004.
All right, and so I know, like you said, so Mother's Day you really didn't want to get on, and then I convinced you to get on and you got on, right? But you said you don't know what it is about Mother's Day. but you got through her
Mhm.
birthday. You sent me, you called me because you was at the grave, you was visiting Eric as well, and you got through it. So maybe we gotta see, maybe you need to speak to someone, or even if we can figure it out in the group, what is it about Mother's Day that sends you in a world spin? And because either way, if it's the birthday, if it's Mother's Day, if it's Christmas, holidays is and whatever, it's the holidays. But like you said, you can't, it's something about that Mother's Day that really take you for a world spin. And like
Yes,
you
it
said, you
does.
can't figure it out. And so I'm saying maybe maybe we could look up for some counseling, something or we could figure out what is the trigger. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, I mean, and I know it's because it put me in the deep depression stage,
Mhm.
like deep, like that. I don't even want my kids. I mean, it's sad to say, but I don't even want them to even say Happy Mother's Day. Like I don't even want people to say that to me. Like it's like I don't even want to hear that. I mean, it sounds selfish because I have my own kids
Mhm.
and I want to be there for them too. But it's just something. I mean, that big part of me it took me for a spin. And I don't know, I mean, I never shared it before. I don't know if it had something to do because I found my mom.
Mhm.
So I don't know if that has a lot to do with why it hurts me so much because me and my sister found her. So it just, and I see that. Like, it didn't happen on Mother's Day. It's just like when Mother's Day come around, it's like those things that's what I reflect off of. Not even like the holidays. I get past the holidays, but I don't do nothing for the holidays. I work all the holidays because I don't want to be alone,
And so the catch is you're moving away and you're not going to be working. You're going to have a little pause time until you start working. And your coping mechanism, to me, your best friend, was that you overworked to compensate so you wouldn't be alone. So what's going to happen when you're alone? Did you think about that?
No, I mean, my sister will be around, my daughter. I mean, they're around now, but I don't know. I didn't know. I haven't thought about it.
And so I'm just saying,
I
so
don't know.
maybe you're gonna have to get somebody you could talk to on the phone. Maybe we can find, because my cousin Elo was, remember, I don't know if he was on here. She said she deals with that. And she have credentials in it, and she would take on that talking to people. She's not up here now, but maybe I could hook up with you because I definitely don't want you to move away and then get depressed. So
Yeah, I don't know.
and I don't want to be selfish, I'll be helping Tawana pack her house up, y'all, her apartment up, so she can move away. Every time she talk about it, because I really don't want her to go. But it's really not about me, right? It's about what's best for Tawanda. And so I'm thinking what's best for you before you take that leap, Tawana, is to get some help. Karima, you want to say something?
How you know?
Because you unmuted, Karima.
No, I just wanted to know, when is she leaving so I can help.
Oh, I'm leaving the 26th of June. I'm having a party.
You breaking up.
Karima.
You breaking up.
To make you come
Karima, she
celebrate.
said she leaving.
I'm having a party June 20th.
Yeah.
And I'm having
I
a
heard her.
party June 25th.
But Elaine, I think that Tawana being closer to Lise and her daughter is gonna be healing for her. So it might comfort her more, and she probably can worry less.
But it's also going to be, and the reason I'm saying that is it's also going to be sit down time. So you're going to be still. And so, and because when I say Tawana will go from one job, so if she worked, tell her how it go, Tawana. She'll leave one job and go to the other.
I know.
And so,
Tawana always
I work 24 hours. I work 24 hours.
And so my point is, when Eric passed, I was whatever. And when I went to Virginia for 7 days, oh my God.
You ain't had nothing to do but think about it.
Yeah, I sat still because Basima, she was working and everybody was going, and I stayed in the hotel. And when I say that I had a meltdown, because reality was like, oh my God, Eric is gone. And I cried so bad, y'all. And I was like, I gotta go home. But I had to accept it. I mean, once the couple of days went through, maybe like the fourth day, I had to deal with it. And I think because I kept busy, I went back to work. So if Eric's funeral was Friday, I went to work Monday, even though my councilman sent me back, but I still ended up back at work. I think the fact that I stayed busy didn't give me that chance to get that cry out. And when I finally got that cry out, when I say I was broken. And so I'm just saying, I'm afraid of that being that she's saying on Mother's Day, she take out. I just don't want Tawana into, go into a deep depression. So if, in just in case, I think you need to work on speaking to somebody before that, since you brought it up that you don't know the difference, or you don't understand why you take Mother's Day so hard. And because I'm your friend, I know that you do. And I try to get you through it. And, I just want the best for you. Go ahead, Karima.
Thank you.
No, that's it.
Thank
You
you.
said it. All right, Tawana, send me the info. You know I love you. You know you my sis.
Okay, thank you.
You at work now, Tawana? You breaking up. Tawana, are you at work?
Yes, I'm at work. I've been here already 24 hours. Yes, I'm at work.
Yeah. Is there
I'm at
somebody
work.
that's like
Yeah,
to say
this is
something
my.
to Tawanda? Go ahead, Tawanda, what you was saying?
I said, this is my way. I mean, like, you already know, I told you, like, this is my way of working. It gets me through because I work with elderly. So it's like, they don't have people. So it's like, I bring joy to them. So when I'm around them, they keep my heart flowing, and they keep me busy for having bad thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Because I look at their situation, because there's no one here visiting them. So that's why, I mean, that's another reason why I stay busy and work all the time, because it keep my mind elevated. Like it keep my mind off of the being depressed, So and then because when I was at work, I came to work on Mother's Day, and I was so lost, but I was trying to work, and it's like people were saying stuff, I didn't want to take stuff out on them, so I try to like brush off. So this is why usually on Mother's Day I stay home, so I don't have to go through that. But I didn't want to stay home this year. I felt like if I stay home, I'm gonna get in that depression stage, and I didn't want that. So that's why I came to work. I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, I know anybody losing a mother. I lost my mother too, so it's like losing a mother, brother, whoever. It's just like is this something? It takes a whole part away from you. It puts you in a whole different mindset. And I think, especially when me and my mom and us, we was close. So it's like it just took my friend, my mom, that person I talk to every day on the phone 3 and 4 times. Even we just listen to each other breathe. It's just I miss that stuff, and it affected me a lot. And I mean, my kids do that to me. They call me all day. We talk on the phone all day. Sometimes we ain't talking. We just listen to each other breathe. But it's different. They got their mother. I don't have mine. So it's like it put me in that mood. And I'm feeling a little. Now that I'm talking about it, I'm feeling a little sad.
Okay, and then too, with grief too is everybody don't grieve the same. Everybody don't heal the same. And so even though, because I remember me and you used to have talks, and I used to say, Tawana, wouldn't you think your mother would want you to do this? And you say, and then we could know that, but still we going through our pain. And so again, it's no way grief is not the same for everybody, and there's no way to heal for everybody. And so we just you gotta, like you said, Tawana, you gotta figure out what is the point, what is the trigger. Like you said, it's some days it's something about her Mother's Day, but not her birthday. You can go to the grave and do your homework at the grave, but you can't do that through Mother's Day. So you gotta figure it out.
I can do it Mother's Day. I just still I go there. I could go there. I could sit there. I listen to the music. I can do that on Mother's Day. But I just be so depressed on that day, even sitting there. And I talk to her and I try to, ask her to guide me through, pull me out of this, the way I feel. But it's just like, no matter what, when I walk away, when I'm there, I'm just overwhelmed. Like I'm just heartbroken. And even though I'm talking to her, I know she hear me. She proud of the accomplishments that I made in my life today at 53. I know she looking down and she saying, you did a great job with your kids. You, look at me. At 53, I went back to school and got my high school diploma. I'm walking across the stage, Elaine, on the 23rd of June. I'm proud of myself. I didn't do it for nobody else. I did it for me. But and I know she happy, but still, she not there to see that. I mean, she's seeing it in the spirit, but but it's still It's still a fact. It affects me a lot. I said that day, it's just the hardest day of life. No matter
You're
what
breaking
else
up.
going on, day, right? I said, no matter what, day is my
Go,
life.
go, put your hands up in the air or put one leg up. It ain't working. You got one leg up?
Oh, I said,
Okay, see,
no,
good.
I said, okay, can you hear me now? I'm
Yeah,
walking
very
away.
good.
I think maybe the area I was in. I said that day is my worst day. You know, it just traumatized me. It just take a lot from me. It just take a lot from me. I mean, I don't know what else to say about that day, but that's what it do to me. It just, but
Yeah.
and when I go down there, Elaine, I mean, I understand what you're saying as my friend, and you want the best for me. I'm gonna take a month off. I am, and I thought about it, sitting there and not doing nothing, and I'm gonna really think. I know I am. I know it's gonna affect me because I'm not being busy, but maybe that might be my time.
Yeah, yeah.
That might be my time to sit and be able to be home for a month. That may be my time to sit and think and talk more and more to her. I wish she'd come to me.
Yeah.
Maybe she come to me, it may be different, you know.
And for the ones that, because Tawana lost the mother, I know there's a couple of people up here who lost a mother. It's different when you lose a mother. And for the ones that mother is still here, you got to cherish them. Sometimes we don't get along with our mothers because I didn't get along with my mother sometimes. But to then when my mother got sick and then we had to take care of her and feed her and change her and wash her, I know I seen the humiliation in her eyes. Like even with Eric, when she had the stroke and Eric and Dee Dee was putting her in the tub, my mother was like a strong person. And so to have somebody have to feed her and talk to her, okay, 1 minute, Jamel, to have somebody to feed her and take care of her, that did something to her spirit, right? But if I could go back and look and do things, some things different, I would. And so for the ones that got their mom, cherish your mom, your dad, whoever, your loved ones, period. Because when my brother got murdered, I wasn't speaking to him. So this like through all the trauma and the healing, it just shows you different things. You look at things different, right? You look at life different. So go ahead, Jamel. Jamel, unmute so you can speak.
But Elaine, right quick, you know how you said you had to do that for your mom? They say at the beginning, you take care.
Wait, Jamel. Wait. Go ahead. You said what, Tawana?
I said, you know how in the Bible said in the beginning, your mom take care of you, at the end, you take care of them.
Absolutely.
So, so she at the end, she probably didn't want that, but at least you got that chance to be able to still be able to bond. I didn't get that chance to bond, to have those moments. My mom had a massive heart attack, so it was different. Was it expected? No one expected that, but that's what happened to her. So, I mean, it would, I mean, not saying that my pain would have been any different if I would have got to spend time with her. No, I don't know. But just to that last minute and to be with her today and then the next day she's gone, it hit different,
Yeah, but and again, Tawana, so then that's like to say, because I did when she said goodbye to me that night before and they told us to prepare, like me and my mom had a talk one day. I was going to Virginia, and she told me she was saying I have to let her go. Now I was always the strong one. I'm like, let you go. No, I ain't gonna let you go. And she was like, you gotta let me go. So I went and I found Dee Dee. Dee Dee was at her friend's house and I cried. I couldn't breathe. I had to put my head in like the refrigerator, the freezer, so I could breathe. But we look at little things, Tawana. Like you said, you didn't get the chance, like even to take care of your mom, but you got to talk to her every day. You got to say, I love you every day. Like you said, y'all stayed on the phone every day. And so the fact that you looking at it like, I ain't get to say that goodbye or that closure, you did it all the time. Some people don't talk to their mothers all the time. Or say like, even when we was raised that, all right, I love you, we kiss it. And a friend of mine said, oh, we never did that. And so, I mean, you just got to look at things different. Everything that's bad is really not bad. You can find good in so much. Jamel has his hand up. Go ahead, Jamel. Jamel, There's some a buzzing sound behind you. Ain't working, Jamel.
Mute him.
Let Jamil finish riding the train. Hang up.
He riding the train.
That's what it sounds like. The train going in the back.
Oh, okay. So Jamel, whenever because I see your hand is up, whenever you can, because we can't hear you, it's just like and behind you. So whenever you get past there, you can just unmute yourself and we can see. Nope, it ain't working. Jamel is doing the same thing. Try saying something, Jamel.
Try to go out and come back in.
Jamil, hang up and come back in.
That's it, Jamel. Karima said it, hang up and come back in. Naya, you want to say something? Because you
No.
okay, because you highlighted. Okay, go ahead, Jamil. You tried it again. Go ahead.
Is it better now?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Peace, everybody.
Hey, Jamil.
Yeah. No, my condolences to the sister. And I'm listening to her and I'm pretty much, reflecting on my mother passing. However your mother passed, she passes, and we're gonna miss them, regardless. My situation was that I was unfortunate to even spend any last days with my mother because she died in the hospital during COVID. So it was actually 2 years ago, April 12th, on my birthday.
Oh, wow.
And one of the things that I was grateful for and it helped me get through this process, because I'm hearing the sister talking about having a difficult time, during this Mother's Day period, is that, I reflect on, I reflect on the good. I try to, just pretty much smile all the time. And one of the things that I did not have to experience, and that's to say that's, the sister's experience or anybody else's, is that whatever's there, any type of amends that need to be made, I had to make it. Sometimes unconsciously, we be suffering from trauma and don't even know that we suffer from trauma. Certain situations we don't even know what it is, and it could be unconscious trauma. Based on some stuff that we might not never address, and at the end of the day, we can't. At some point, we had to. I had to stop, like running, compressing. I here talking about like working all the time, and pretty much that's like just compressing the feelings. And I understand that you can't compress your feelings for the rest of your life. At some point, you got to deal with it. You know what I mean? So you could be able to move on regular. Working 24 hours, that does a lot to the body, a lot to the mind. And you gotta have, we gotta have well-being, and we have to heal. So right now it sounds like, unconsciously, it sounds like she hasn't even, try unconsciously, have not tried a healing process. It's just that the feelings of a mother come up and she go through, which is a natural feeling. Like we don't take that away, but we do certain things to just try to deal with the situations better. Like again, I said, if there's anything that you felt that you need to say to her or make amends to, sometimes those things could be in the way of our healing, and we don't even know. So even we don't even know what the amends is. Just, hey, I make amends for whatever it is that I might have done. Let God just, handle the rest. So, my mother birthday come, my birthday come, which is the death of her, a transition. I'm pretty much like, and sometimes like I actually be looking like why I'm not going, go having this deep, like Elena said, people grieve different, and I'm like, my grieving is different because I don't go through, the soaking and all that stuff like that. And not saying that's anything wrong, because if that's what you have to do, that's what you do. We just try to do something to help us get better, through the whole process. Like hopefully next Mother's Day, we'll do some work between here and now, and just get through that day better. Like you said, you go to the grave site, you talk. I go and I reminisce. Sometimes I take a nap, because those are the same things I did when I used to go by her house. So it's like, when I go to the grave to see her, I do the same things that I did when I was at the house. Have my phone, play some music, talk about whatever I talk about, hold a regular conversation. I talk about the things I did that week. I talk about what's bothering me. I talk about what's coming up. I talk about my plans, regular conversation, and then, I normally stay, probably about the same time I would if I'm down there. It's like this is a whole different thing, just that she's just not present. You know what I mean? But her spirit is there, and and I'm there, and but at the end of the day, we can't run. You can't run forever. It's like a situation where you have to address it. It's like, going to school and that bully messing with you all the time. Whenever you don't step back to that bully, the bully gonna keep bothering. You know what I mean? It ain't until that you address that bully that things gonna change. And it's the same thing with this situation. Like, we got, it has to be addressed. We just gotta find out, how we want to address it, but it definitely need to be addressed. And I just hope, help you wellness, and if you ain't got no financial situations, I hope that you can lessen your hours and
Well, she
spend
leaving.
some
Remember,
time.
she leaving both of the jobs. She's leaving. She's moving away.
Okay. All right.
So,
Well, that's not to say she ain't gonna carry herself with her and get somewhere else and do the same thing, because she ain't addressed what she need to address. So hopefully that she don't take that behavior with her,
Tawana,
and find something else to do with that time.
Tawana, you get what he's saying?
I hear what he's saying, but I work because I mean, even though I'm not using that as I'm not using that as an excuse to manage my situation. I work because it helps me. And believe it or not, just because I work 24 hours, I'm not wearing myself down. I get a chance to take a sit down when I'm at work and stuff like that. So it's not like I don't get a chance to take a break. And I'm not, I work 20, but I go away, I travel, I do stuff. So it's not only just like I just work and don't still enjoy my life. I still do,
Okay.
Yes, she always on the flight, always.
Okay, and so let me say this too, Tawana. So, and then what about this part? So he's saying, and I get what he's saying. Mute your thing, Naya. Because Tawana is my best friend, and when we did have conversation, and I said to Tawana, like, wait, let me mute him. When Tawana was saying to me, like, she was like brokenhearted, and I'm thinking to myself, like, how is that? I'm always seeing you on Facebook, you down there with your sisters and them, you laughing. And that just shows you that a smile can hide so much pain. And when she was explaining it to me, and I'm like, huh? Like I couldn't believe that she was as broken as she was telling me, because looks on the outside, it don't look like that. But what he said is this, Tawana. So like you said, you wasn't there, or you didn't get to say, if she would have died in the hospital, you didn't get to really say that goodbye. And I'm just asking you, because it's kind of making sense. Do you feel like because she died alone, or because do you think like, damn, what if I would have called her, or the fact that I wasn't there? Do you look at things like that?
Always. I look
So
at
maybe
everything.
that's
I
what he
look at
said. So
that.
maybe you gotta say, mommy, I'm sorry, or if you feel like you let her down, right? Because that's how I felt with Water, right? That's how I felt when my brother died. He got murdered, and I wasn't speaking to him. And I had a shrine, and everybody was like, oh, was the guilt? And I'm about to get emotional. It wasn't the guilt. It was just that I knew that if I was speaking to him when he tried to speak to me, if I would have spoke to him, if we were speaking, I knew he would have called me, or I would have got that. I just knew I would have known more. And so it never was the guilt that of me not speaking to him. It was like, so much more could have been said. And so did I ever ask for forgiveness? No. maybe I needed to, and maybe you need to accept, or maybe we need to say, oh my dang, I wish I was there. Or like you said, maybe it would have mattered if you was there. Maybe it would have mattered if you would have picked up the phone, or you knew that she didn't answer, because I knew how when I showed up at the house when she was, found. And so, Tawanda,
Mhm.
maybe
But I don't. I mean, I don't feel guilt because I wasn't there, because it could have happened anytime. Could have been happening when she was at work. It's something that was unpredictable. It wasn't. It could have been prevented. It's something that just happened.
Okay.
My mom suffered with high blood pressure, so so it wasn't something that I could say, well, if I would have been there, because I mean, I was with her. Like, I was with her the day before. So I talked to her that the night before, so it wasn't like I'm there. I don't feel guilty or like I just. I mean,
you
long
just
story
don't know
short,
what it is. You just
no,
don't.
you know what? Let me just. I never. I don't really talk about it, but if it. I don't know if it's my mind playing. I'm getting a little emotional, but I don't know if it's my mind playing. Like, cause my mom found some mom, so all that stuff always very heavy on my brain. So I don't know if that has something to do with it.
What worry on your brain? What you say?
I said it very heavy on me because my mother found her mother, so all that just always playing in my mind.
Okay.
When Mother's Day come around, I don't know. It just.
And so your mother finding her mother. How did she deal with it? Did she carry
That's
it?
what and I think that's what my mom. And then when I lost my brother, my mom died with a broken heart. So it
And so
affected
that
her a
weight
lot.
on your mind, like you think what you mean the way on your mind? Like you feel like
I couldn't do nothing to help her. Her broken heart. My heart was broken. So it was like no matter
think you
you try
doing
to
the
be
same
around.
pattern then, because now maybe you don't want Chanel and Antoine to feel like they can't help you with your broken heart. We want to keep it going, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just this, I think, Tawana, like he's saying, we probably just got to look at it and get some help, because and like you said, you don't even want them to tell you Happy Mother's Day on Mother's Day. And so you got to think about them, right? It ain't fair to them either. They want to celebrate their mom because you're a good mom. And so maybe we could work on it. We can talk about it more intense. And even if I could find you somebody you could talk to on the phone, because we got to because it ain't fair to them, right? Is there someone else that want to say something? Somebody said something in the chat. Let me see. Oh, Jamel.
Can I add something real quick?
Yes, Jamel.
Yeah. Also want to talk about my situation too. And a lot of things that we go through where we can't find the answer, it's pretty much a lack of acceptance. Like acceptance is so deep. Acceptance is pretty much like 90% of things that goes on in life. Like we don't accept situations, like our lives really. I mean, imagine if your life a whole day and not practicing no acceptance for a whole day, right? You would go crazy. And sometimes we love people to the point that, a lot of us who lost loved ones, we don't want those lost. We wish that those loved ones wasn't gone, right? And in some cases, we really haven't got unconsciously, we haven't got any acceptance that the person is gone. Like we know the person is gone, but we really haven't got any acceptance with it. And we continue, to mourn over that, and that also has been some of my experience. And when we talk about acceptance, it really makes sense. Because if I don't accept something, it could be
Get
harsh.
past it. You can't get past it. And you know what? That you say that is funny because I work in a medical field and I work with hospital cases. And the first thing of knowing that you're going to be dying is accepting. And I be talking to them, and it's funny that you can talk to someone else and get them the same. Like when you guys on here, you're talking about different things. These are the same advices I give my residents. But like you said, I have to find a way to accept it myself, because I can give them all the right outlooks and be there, hold their hands and let them know they ain't by themselves. I do that on the regular. I do this stuff. But like you said, now I define the
Breaking
like
up.
you said,
You breaking up.
until I can act it
Tawana, you might have
myself.
to move. You might have to move. Go back to where you was.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can hear me now?
Yeah, I can
Can you
hear
hear
you.
me?
Yeah.
Okay, I was saying that at work, I do a lot of that at work with the resident because I work with hospital cases. And a lot like when the residents passing, they have to accept first. That's the first thing of when you know you're dying, is accepting the fact that you can give it and leave this world. And until I be, and that's and when he was saying, yes, I have to find it within myself to accept the fact that my mom is gone. Sometimes I say I know she's gone. I ain't accepting it. And even though it's been since 2004, it's just to accept it. But it's crazy how I can give this information to someone else and I can't even practice what I preach. And it's not even so much practicing what I preach. This is my job. And this is how I get them through the trauma that they're going through. Now I need to get through my own trauma.
Absolutely. And so when you move away, that's your charge to get through your trauma. And it may take time.
Yes.
And like you said, it's not easy.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have you in our prayers, right, Jamil? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
That's right.
Thank you.
And you know what's crazy is, so Eric got murdered in 2018. This year on his birthday, April the 30th. I cried, right? Out of all the years, and then I said, I think it was the acceptance. I was like, they really killed my son. And I think that was my, like, wow, it just like it's 4 years now, and it's just like, wow, everything coming back, you know. And so you're right. You definitely gotta accept it, acknowledge it, and even with that, y'all know that with death, we come to go, and so that's why I celebrate Eric. I celebrate my mother. I celebrate my brother. We celebrate Tawana's mother and brother, and you know, because we want the world to know that they was here. So even with your mom or whoever, Matt, don't be trying to join in at the end because we ain't gonna be here all day, Matt. But it's just that I want the world to know that they was here, right? We all come to go, but we all have memories. And so Tawana and Jamil, we rejoice on the memories. We like he said, you think about the good times and the laughs. And the difference with Eric and my mother and them, which was a blessing to me, is I definitely believed in recording and videos and pictures. And we got so much. And because Eric was a rapper, I get to hear his voice, right? I get to hear one of the songs. He was like, yo, hey, mom. And so I get to hear that. And I'll be like, Eric. And so some people not blessed with that. But if you have the memories, you cherish them, you celebrate them, right? We want the world to know that they were here. And so that's my acceptance. That's how I cope with my grief, right? With my trauma. That's why I cope. I always looked at it as always somebody, like you said, Tawana, you work with hospice, where they dying. It's always somebody worse off than us, right? And then when you get to hearing things, and I'm like, what? I'm upset about that. Or I'm upset that they said this about me, when it's it's. I looked at the video with the Buffalo guy. They got the video going around where he shot the people up, the Black people. Not only did he shoot them, he walked past them and shot them in the head. To have their loved one look at that. It's just so much that we got to be thankful. We got to be thankful, right? And if you got some things going on with your loved ones, if you want to, because let's not get it wrong. I still get attitudes. I still don't speak to people sometimes. And then I got to sit down and I got to say, because my sisters used to say it all the time, like when Walter died, you wasn't speaking to him. You know how that felt. You want to go through that again. But then sometimes I feel that you got to teach people how to treat you, right? When you accept things, they want to keep doing it. And so I try to forgive. You can forgive and you don't forget. But sometimes I hold on. But I do the pandemic set me down. It set me down to see things that I needed to see. And so I'm thankful. I'm not thankful that people died through the COVID, but I think that God was trying to let us know something, sitting us down. And Jamil, I'm sorry that you had to go through that, because I think that's like the worst thing to not be happened with the people with COVID, like they were by themselves. Some people I know, like even when Hanifa's son was in there, they had the video. that they'll let you video them. I think Tawana, y'all even do that, right? Y'all let them see their loved ones and talk to their loved ones. But that got to be traumatic in itself, not being there for someone. You know what I'm saying, Jamil?
But you know what's crazy? Because me working in that, when it happened, they wasn't able to come in. So I was trying to be that loved one,
Mm-hmm.
you know, try to coach them through it. And even in the darkest moments, I mean, I was going in some resident room, I would help them, clean them up and all that. And when I turn around, they gone. Just imagine feeling that, going through that every day.
Yeah.
2019, I lost 150 residents. So it was rough for me. I had a breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
I had a breakdown. In the beginning, I was coping with it, but then when it happened, it was happening so much, I broke down. And I didn't even know these. I mean, I knew them as being my patients, but I didn't have like all of them. I didn't have a relationship with them like that. But when it happened, it took me up.
Yeah.
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 Wow. So that was needed to be said. Is I see Jackie joined. Hey Jackie, Matt, hi. So today we touched on Alzheimer's.
Hey, family.
Hey, we touched on Alzheimer's because I was thinking back that my first traumatic experience, I was thinking back was when my grandmother got Alzheimer's, and I didn't go see her for a week because it broke me up. It made me so depressed that she did not know who I was. And it was like she was deteriorating right in front of my eyes, right? And so I had to pull back, but it was a roommate that she had that was blind and no legs. And I used to talk to her all the time. I loved the lady. Her name was Burley. And she didn't have family members to come up. And she was saying, you know, your grandmother fell, but they hit her. And so we know in like the nursing homes and stuff, they hit the people. You know, they get angry when they don't want to take the medicine. Because even when we tried to give her the medicine, she would fight us. And to keep it real. And so I know because I had and I talk about this, my father, which it was his mother who I was close with. Actually, when I got pregnant with Eric, and I didn't want Eric, I was what, 18, 17, 18. And I said, I don't want to have a baby. And she was like, just have him and give him to me. And I'm like, okay, if I'm a carrier, I'm honest, well, keep him, right? I loved my grandmother. And when she was going through her phases, when the Alzheimer's was setting in, one day I went and I was living with them, and my father put her in the tub. And I hear her in the tub, and he was like, Mom, sit down, Mom, sit down. And he yelling and you know, they all over the place. They don't know, their mind is not there. And I heard her, oh my God, y'all, I lost my mind. Like he hit her to have her sit. And when I say I lost my mind, like I wanted to fight my father, like, how dare you put your hands on it? And so by then we knew, okay, it was we had to get her in a nursing home, right? And so to even go through that experience, I realized that I was traumatized. I started going back to see her. She eventually passed. And then, you know, they called us. We sat there till they came and got her body from the nursing home. But that was my first looking at a movie last week. Like, it sent me through something. It sent me through my feelings. Like, that was my first traumatic experience, witnessing my grandmother, who I loved dearly, not knowing who I was. And so we talked about that and talked about how if you got loved ones that's going through certain things like that, you know, the heart, it'll want to run, but you got to be there for them, because when you have people in nursing homes, they people don't come, they will neglect them, right? And so
treat them like crap.
Yes. Hey, Jackie. And so
Hey,
that's
baby.
what we touched on today. And then Tawana talked about not really, I guess, accepting the loss of her mom, how she could deal with her mom's birthday, but not Mother's Day. And so Tawana's moving away. We offered that maybe we can, you know, she can get some counseling or be able to cope. We talked to a Shiva, who's no longer on here. She's a 16-year-old, my mentee from university. So she talked about, you know, needing adults, and people need to be there for the children. There's a lot of children going through and they don't know how to talk. And so we got to reach out to these children, just even talking to them. You know, I talk to a lot of children. I make conversations. I was at an event yesterday. My sister was preaching, and it's just me. And there was a girl there said, Elaine, it's just you. They was in the line, y'all, right? And they giving us our food. So the first person went and she went down the road, and that person went down the road with her, going all the way down. There's 3 other people standing there, and I'm saying, this don't make sense. So I said to them, won't you just take, as I'm gonna give you my thing, you pass it to the next person so y'all can keep it moving. The girl looked at me like, mind your business. But that's me always wanting order, trying to help somebody. It was a little boy, I'm like, baby, did you eat? Go ahead, come on, go eat. That wasn't my event, but that's just that spirit. I have a helping spirit. And so this is what this Zoom is about. It's like helping each other, helping the village. Sometimes when we get up here and I put people on the spot and say, hey, Jackie, you want to talk? It's really not for you. I mean, of course, you sharing is going to help you, but it's that other person on that other line who may need that. Like today, I didn't want to get on Zoom. I was in an emotional state and I was saying, I'm not going to get on Zoom. But some said, get up, get dressed. Because you can't let that whatever's going on take you over. I got to get up because I got some lives to save and I got people to help. And on here, while I'm helping y'all helping me too. And so that's why I got on today. We don't have to do this long like we usually do, the 7 to 8. I asked, did people have anything to say? They did. Jackie, if you would like to say something, or Matt, or anybody on the iPhone, *6. Before we close out, feel free to say something. And Jackie, since you already unmuted, go ahead. Hey, Jack.
Hey, baby, how you doing?
I'm good.
I just want to say that this week I was on, I had to go to jury duty.
Okay.
And I was traumatized because I got in that courtroom. We had to go down. It was okay for virtual. I was cool with the virtual. But now they wanted us to come down to the courthouse.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got in that courtroom, I felt myself like shaking and tearing up. And I kept going back to that April when I had to go to the courthouse to face that person that shot and killed my son. And I was traumatized.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept on saying, I said, damn, I'm being traumatized right now. What the hell? Because the tears just started flowing because they came to the question about, have you or anyone in your family been victim of a crime? And I'm like, yes. And I broke down. They were like, you excused, you can go, get out.
Yeah.
But it was like, I just couldn't believe that after 28 years, just being in that room for like 5 minutes got to me like that, you know? And I really have to thank you and the group for making me realize that I am traumatized, you know, because before this, I never realized the stuff that I've been through was traumatic to me. And I've been through some things and I'm like, damn, when you think about it, I am a traumatized person.
Yeah.
So thank you.
We don't like to be known with that. That's what I said. Like, you know how when you come up in the and I'm gonna say this, in a Black home, what goes on in this house stays in this house. And I think
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I don't know, maybe that hurt us in a sense. I don't know, maybe it helped, or maybe it made us stronger. I think it made me stronger. What you think it did to you?
It made me stronger too, because, you know, and then it depends on what it was that we wasn't supposed to talk about, you know, because everybody's business, my business is everybody's business, you know? So, but definitely that was a saying in my Black home, you know, what goes on in this household stays in this household, you know?
And so the difference with today's time, because even like the little kids at the school, and my grandson had a little girl in his school was talking about a boy raping her. These children, and like RJ said, because he's a substitute, I'll come back in. Okay, they want to tell, they want to say things, and it's really up to the adults on how we deal with it. Right? Some just want a hug. Some just want you to talk to them. And so again, as much as I can say this, if you know some youth, or if it's some children that look like they just, hey, how you doing today? They just need that. And we should try to do that. Matt, is this something you want to say, Matt? I'm gonna go down this line. Tiana spoke. Greg,
I got something to say about that. That what happens in my house stays in my house thing.
Sorry, I was trying to adjust my mic.
Okay. Matt, go after Tiana. Go ahead, Tiana.
That whole scenario or statement is very toxic. especially when it comes to like Black families, because it be things that kids are holding on to. Like, say for instance, if you know your mom or your parents had trouble paying such and such bill, because now they too prideful to ask for help. You asking a kid to now hold back on something that they need. This is a necessity.
Yeah.
If the lights go out, why should you have so much pride that you can ask for help? So now me as a kid, I gotta walk around and wear this and not say nothing. That's a lot of trauma for a child to go through on a day-to-day basis. When kids are being touched at home and they gotta keep it, that's, first of all, that's causing lack of accountability for adults. Because now nobody is being accountable for what they did, because now I can't say nothing. So now I gotta stay and keep all of this in, and it messes you up as an adult.
Wow.
So I don't agree with that. And I think that is something, no. If you need help, if you need something, you should be able to speak on it.
Okay,
nothing,
so being that you raising a baby daughter, you're saying you're going to teach her not to do that. To say if you need, because they say a closed mouth don't get fed. They do say that. So that's
absolutely
okay.
Yes, because I would never want her to walk around holding, carrying that much weight.
Yeah. Because
she's a child. As an adult, that's my job to make sure everything is where it needs to be. And if I do fall short, but I'm gonna ask. Because I know I would do it for the next person.
Yeah, I want to say something on that topic.
Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, I think that is the way you tell your kid what happens. I don't think everything is just what happens in my house stays in my house. I think personal family business is personal family business, because I was brought up like what happens in my house stays in my house. You don't tell your family certain personal business, but that didn't stop me from reaching out to people that I felt comfortable in school. To even like when we was going through it, when you and my father first broke up, and I wanted to live with my father. Yeah, and I wanted to live with my father, and I went to go live with my father for a couple months, and I was missing you. I was scared to tell my father. I didn't want him to be mad at me. I didn't say, Daddy, I want to go back home. But when I went to school, I felt comfortable with one of the teachers. She said I was sad, and I said, yeah, I miss my mother. I want to go back home with my mother, but I don't want to tell my father. So I think that, but I knew that certain family business is not to be talked about. So I think if you instill in your child, like, look, okay, like if this happens in the house, if you hear mommy and daddy arguing, you don't go and just tell mommy and daddy. It's like certain things you could teach your child, look, this is our family business, but like everything is not to be kept in the house. Like if somebody's bothering you, you can tell me, you can tell the teacher, like you'll just have to explain to your child the difference. It's not just everything what happens in my house stays in my house, but some things that happen in your house is your family business. I don't think that your child should just be running out telling personal business.
Well, that's true, but I think she means like she said with the lights. She shouldn't have to be in a light. I'm quite sure she is teaching.
No, that's personal business though. That's your parents. That's your parents' responsibility. If your lights is out, your parents got to get up the money. I don't think you should go to school and say, "Teacher,
not
my
to
lights
school,
is out,
but like other family members." Greg, you know.
So she
we don't
that
have to
baby
go
should be
out
in
of
the
the
dark.
house to anybody.
No, I mean with other family members too, because like you know how even our family as an example, if that's just like if your lights is out and then Kayor come to the wrong family member and say your lights is out, it's not like they're gonna actually help. They might start talking about you.
But
now,
then
I wouldn't put her around the wrong family members. That's why I'm selective with who I have around her.
Okay.
Because a lot of people they just want to get the bad stuff. You know what I'm saying? To have something to talk about. I'm gonna put people around me and my daughter that want the best for us. So if we do fall off, man, they already gonna know about it. Y'all already gonna know about it because I'm already feel comfortable enough to come and ask for help if I needed it.
Absolutely. Basima, you have your hand up, but Matt, wait, Basima. Matt, I called you out. Did you want to say something, Matt?
I just wanted to say it was a good meeting, and there was a lot of topics, man. Because even when the brother was just sharing, because sometimes it's like things that we hope, and then sometimes we just gotta face the facts, And I was born in the South Ward, born and raised. There were certain things that didn't go out the house, and what made us not take it out the house was fear, So that was something that had to be addressed there. you know, and we grew up in America. A man is not supposed to cry. A lot of men believe that, you know, but until we grow up and go through some stuff, we realize that that was a bunch of bullshit, excuse my French, you know, or you don't want to ever appear weak, you know, like that's the whole thing. We all trying to be strong and everybody's dying inside, you know. So addressing these issues, there's been so much said, you know, but I just think like dressing them one at a time. And the sister that was just talking with a child, like every mother's different, you know, and God gave you the willingness and the ability to raise your child the way you think your child should be raised, you know, and then when your child is grown, they can go on and raise their family, you know. So a lot of things are different, but it's just so, because all of us, even though a lot of us was raised in Newark, I don't know if all y'all was, but we all was raised kind of different, you know. We have a lot of the same memories, you know, a lot of the same foods, we the same culture, but some things were done different, you know. We knew who house not to go over. We knew who was gonna touch us. No, I don't want to go over there. You know, mommy didn't know why that we didn't want to go over Uncle so-and-so's house, but we knew, you know. So just getting them things out with your family member was saying he was able to go to school, just being available, like this platform, and I always ended with that, like this platform being available for people to open up, whereas they wouldn't have opened up anywhere else. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. So Zoom, I'm gonna get you by Zoom user said, and I think that's Karima, right? Is it? I think. She said, I agree, some business should be left in the house. This new help will cause the system to be involved. So a lot of times they come in, and one thing with the DYFS cases, it seems like the ones that they should be all up in, they don't. And I don't want to get it, but that's me, Karima. Very good. Go ahead, Basima. Your hand is up.
Oh, okay. So I mean, I agree with Greg and
Tiana
about it, because you know, and Matt, because I'm gonna speak about what Matt said about the not the crying. But anyway, you know, I grew up in a household where, you know, what's going on and, you know, how stay in the house. But I think for me, I don't know about my brothers and sisters, at a young age, I knew what needed to stay in the house and what, you know, it could be talked about even with family members. You know what I'm saying? Like with, you know, when she said about the lights, we never had to deal with that. I'm not saying that we didn't have a situation where that might have happened, but my mother did whatever it is she had to do. But like when I was growing up, my mother, it was an abusive relationship. You know what I'm saying? My stepfather used to, you know, hit on my mother. And I was one of those kids where, okay, if I don't see it, you know what I'm saying, and you know, they saying this is going on, once I see it, I'm gonna get involved. With me, I told my dad, you know what I'm saying, because, you know, I felt comfortable enough to say, your children are living in this house. You know what I'm saying? You need to, you know that, you know, who's to say at one point in time he might, you know, wanted to, you know, lose his mind further and try to, you know, which he did. One time he was fighting, you know, trying to fight on my mother, and I jumped in the middle. I'm like, this shit gonna stop. Like, you're not doing that. You know, I'm swinging on that. I'm like, I had to be like maybe 14 or 15 years old, but I'm like, we not doing that. So I pretty much wanted him to put his hands on me because I wanted to go tell my father so that, you know, things could happen or whatever. So I think with these new age kids and how they're being raised, yes, well, go on in your house, stay in your house. But if you see mommy getting hurt, or if you see, you know, alcohol or drugs, because, you know, if a person is drug addict, no, they don't want nobody to know, but these kids might be in danger. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying go tell the world, but you need to have they need to have somebody, whether it's family or friend or whatever, that they can go to, because it can potentially turn to something bad for these kids, and they already traumatized if their mom or in a traumatizing relationship or drugs. You know what I'm saying? So I think it don't need to be that blanket statement anymore. Well, go on in the house, stay in the house. We need to set some rules. If somebody is in danger, you know, I might not want you to go and tell my business, but if somebody in danger, because women is getting killed by boyfriends. Boyfriends is getting killed by girlfriends and husbands and wives. If you see, you know what I'm saying, something like that going down, save my life. Help me out. Help me out. That's just, you know, how I feel. And then I know when I raised my son at a very young age, I don't cry. You know what I'm saying? You're not no punk. You're not no, you know, and I think I traumatized my son because for years, he was going through things I didn't know, but he didn't want to cry and he didn't want to, you know, appear to be weak and all like that. And he kept it bottled up. And I think that's why he got into a lot of the things that he's gotten into. You know what I'm saying? I think we have to explain these don't tell, don't cry. I think it needs to be explained, you know what I'm saying, more so the kids can understand, okay, look, because my son used to fall, get up, come on, you ain't hurt, don't cry. You fell, you hurt your leg, you're bleeding, it hurts, you can cry. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying sit around and just, every time you turn around, they crying, but if you
That's
are
right,
hurt,
that's right, shake it off, you're a man.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I know I told my son that. But if you are hurt, if you are sad, you gotta express those things, and
so
it's
when
okay.
You did that when you did that with Ibn with his sons, you now say, "Cry is okay."
Yeah. If they fall and they come and they be like, "Grandma, you know, we're crying like my leg," my first mind is to say, "Come on, man, it's just a little scratch." But I know if a little scratch to me looking at a little scratch, I don't know if that little scratch, somewhere in the inside where the bone is, that's hurting him. So I say, come here, let me see, you know what I'm saying? Let me check it out, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. I clean it up, do the grandmother thing. And then I'll be like, you all right? You good? You know, they cry a little bit more, but I don't stop that crying because, you know, you hurt.
So
you know
when you did that to Ibn, did you get that from who? Your mother, your father? They told you don't cry? I mean, the boys in the house don't cry. Where you get it from?
I got it from me. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like, okay, I got me a son. I'm raising my son to be rough and tough and rugged. We ain't doing all that crying. You ain't no punk. You ain't no, you know what I'm saying? And I think I traumatized them. I did. I think I did.
Next month we're gonna have to get Ibn on the Zoom. And so
I want to. I definitely
life. Yeah, so I'm gonna
so
talk.
Now you want him to put me on there talking about how bad mother I was. We ain't doing
I mean, it's all a learning thing. Greg and I may feel like this is bad, but like I said, parenting is something that's not taught. We learned it on our own. And so we did the best that we could when we doing the right thing. We think we doing what's right, leading them. As long as we ain't putting them in harm's way, we did the best that we know how to do. You don't get a book.
Yes. I want to say something. But these kids today, they're not holding back water. They telling everything.
Yeah, they are.
They telling everything. So we ain't even got to.
But we do have some that don't tell, Tawana. Because you know I worked in the school system, so I have some.
I don't know
that tell
names.
and
These
some
kids,
that
these kids tell. First of all, they don't even want to listen to adults. So it's like they cussing you out. It's not. These kids is not the same like how we were when we was growing up.
So the difference, I think, we had our grandparents back then. We had the grandmas, the real grandmas, but now they're young. And so the mother and the grandmother is young together. And so, because I was in the school system, so I see it. They'll come up there, want to fight. Like, even when I left the school, I wanted to write a poem about it's parents that never came to pick up report cards. Ever. We never seen them. But take their kid's cell phone, they coming. They want to fight. They want to do that. And so times are different. It's to me, it's the times with the grant. It's different. It is different.
Yeah, it's different. Even now with these pandemic babies, they calling out the cribs already at 2 months. So.
Is this somebody? Okay, so even though I said we wasn't going to stay on long, it's now going on 2 hours. And so we want to wind down. Alberta Hunt, so, I'm gonna just go down the line. Hey, I really appreciate this so much today. I think Alberta was about to get off. She said, I really appreciate this so much today. I really needed this. Hunt, did you need to say anything before we get off? I go down the line. When people, like my kids, would say, oh, it took long, I never want to cut nobody off because it's something that they may say or something that we may say may save somebody's life today. So it's me, and then it's Tawana. She spoke, Jamil spoke. Hunt, would you like to say anything before we go out? If not, Carter spoke. Crystal, would you like to speak? iPhone. And then I think Dondre Hart and my cousin. Hey, my cousin, but I don't see a voice up here, so I don't even know if you could speak because there's no thing to say that you got a microphone. So hi, my cousin Dondre, if you up here, I mean, I say your name. There's no microphone, so you can't speak. I don't know what you want in today's time, but we love you.
Elaine,
Yes.
when you get a chance, I want to say something. My phone was
Yeah, honey, it's your turn. Go ahead.
Hi, everybody. How much do you know I love you?
I love you too.
Depression. I had a conversation yesterday with my daughter. Elaine, you know my relationship with my daughter. Her grandfather passed away 3 weeks ago from cancer and dementia. I believe when he passed away, he was weighing 50 pounds. From maybe like from 300 pounds, he went down to 50 pounds.
Wow.
And when he passed away, she don't deal with death the way I don't know. She deal with death as though she has a tendency, I want to be with the person that passed away because she was close to her grandfather. I want to leave this earth. I want to die. So what I did yesterday, I went to a bingo. She went to bingo with me. We had a nice conversation. And I just opened that Pandora box and say, okay, I know me and you don't have the relationship. And because you're sometimes disrespectful in your mouth, and I will punch you in your mouth, grown or not. I'm sorry, that's how I was raised. You don't disrespect. But because of what she was dealing with, I sent her a text this morning and said to her, if you need me, I'm here no matter what. Regardless of what we go through, I'm going to always be your mother. There's not a book that parenting was in. We didn't have a book. We go on instinct or what we know. So because she's in depression, I don't want to lose her. But she's on a verge of, I don't even know how to say this without crying. I feel like I'm gonna lose my daughter.
So let me say this though, maybe it's not as bad as you think it is. And maybe she want to show something. She texted me May the 20th, what's today's date? She texted me May the 20th and she said, good morning, Miss Lee. Can you please help me get a job with the city of Newark, please? Now I didn't respond because, you know, my councilman is going out. So I'm trying to get settled with getting me a job right now. Well, seeing where they're going to place me. But maybe because you see how she acts, she in her mind, maybe she feels like she get a job and she get focused. I'm gonna reach out to her though, but she did.
She's at her weakest point. She's not working. She don't have no income coming in. She applied for unemployment, but they couldn't verify. She said it's a new thing with unemployment. They can't verify her identity, so she can't get no money. So she has 4 children. So she's at her weakest that I've ever seen her at.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna call her.
She talked like, I don't want to be here no more. I want to take my life. Somebody gonna take care of my kids. And it's just breaking me down. I don't know what else to do. Like literally when I say breaking down, to see your firstborn, see your child go through what she's going through, it's hard.
Yep. And so,
Can I intervene?
I'm sorry.
Jamil.
Yeah, Jamil.
Right. So, sister, I hear what you. Can you hear me?
You went in and out. Yeah.
Okay. I had a situation like that. With one of my ball players. A lot of kids. I found out that they use sports as an outlet. And pretty much when things not going right at home. And I think you mentioned something about like a lack of a relationship. And I know situations where some type of trauma or bad activity comes about that my experience is that a few of them, these kids, they just needed somebody to love on them. they feel like that because of the lack of relationships, as part of them feel like they don't have that go-to person. And I had to become that go-to person, you know, someone that can listen to them, someone that they can trust, someone that they can share stuff with and that don't get nowhere else, you know, especially being you know, with these kids, they was teenagers, so they don't want to be embarrassed and stuff like that. And it was just all about just being loved on, you know, and
How
like
old is Shanice? How old is Shanice?
Shanice is 34.
Okay, she's 34, Karima.
right. So she's 34, and at the same time, she's still a human being. Just I
No,
don't care how
Karima just wanted to know how old was she. Karima.
old.
Okay.
You know, just need to be loved on, because
So let me say
sometimes
this. I met Shanice and Hunt, and he's absolutely right. Not to cut you off. I was the parent liaison at Madison, and it's crazy. And so Hunt was an aide, and I was the parent liaison, and I met her daughter, who she's talking about, as the parent liaison, and she had the baby, and then she ended up having another baby. But her son was going through some things, and she would come, they would call her in school, and he would act up. And you're right, because she came to me, and we formed a relationship. She would sit in the office with me every day, and she would tell me everything, right? Her through her mom, and that's how me and her mom met, because I would go to her mom. You know, I tried to be the go-between them two. So I know exactly what she talk about. I would be the go-between, try to solve it, and she's right, and you're right. And I will, when we get off the line, I'm gonna reach out to Shanice, because she will open up. And so we gonna work on that. So I'm glad that you did bring that up today, huh? Go ahead, Jamil.
yeah. So even as a, you know, as a parent, even as, you know, her being 34, and some of my family situations, like I had to just go ahead and reach out, you know, give an invitation, you know, let's go do lunch. Hey, what you doing this weekend? Let's go get our hair done. Let's go get our nails done. You know, you might know about an event or something like that. You know, like start welcoming, you know, giving them some, you know, some love, and just getting her attention. You know, and it works. It works, because at the same time, I don't care how old you are, you always crying out for something. You know, it's always crying out, and the bottom line is only because we're human. You know what I mean? Our age doesn't mean that we should not be loved or want to be loved. It doesn't mean that we don't want attention. It doesn't mean that we don't want someone to listen to us. You know, we're still human.
I agree. You agree, huh?
I agree. I believe. Okay, let me take this back a couple. Okay. Some of it is, and I'll take the blame. If I say something wrong, I will apologize for that. My son, who is just turned 26, he has a daughter who's, Miss Lee knows about that, autistic and nonverbal. So for the last 3 years, I've been helping him as much as I can. I pulled back recently because I'm like, okay, now you gotta do this shit. You gotta do this yourself. It's not that I'm not helping, but I felt like, let me pull back some. Let me just focus on me sometime, because I go. I help everybody. Whoever needs help, I'm that person. I will help you. But let me pull back. And then last night, I went out with my daughter. We had a good time. We went to a designer handbag bag. You know, she was in a little bit of pain, but she enjoyed herself. And I think I'm going to start doing stuff like that, because I feel like at the end of the day, that's still my child. That's still, she needs something. I don't want to bury my daughter. And suicide, depression is, and I had to realize, is real. People, like Ms. Lee just said earlier, you can have a smile on your face, but nobody inside know what you're going through. Nobody. Unless they tell you, you don't know if they're in a good mood or not. You just see, oh, they happy. Ain't nothing wrong with them. But it's not true. They can be so depressed. And she has 4 children. From 17, oldest one will be 17 next week. The baby is 2. Abria is 2. A mother of 4 kids, not working, used to have an income coming in every single day. that's a hard pill to swallow.
It is. And then she was a young mother herself. So yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm gonna call
But
her when we get off.
I'm sorry, I'm crying. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. You know I'm here for you too. So when I get off, I will call her and we'll talk about it. Karima left. I was trying to say I love her. Okay.
Thank you to that. I don't know that guy name, but tell him I said thank you.
Jamel.
Thank you, Jamel.
You're welcome.
All right.
And actually, you know what? Because
Yes.
I'm here, I'm part of this community. I believe that our kids should live. And if there's any way that I can help and assist, she have little boys.
Yes.
She has 3 boys.
Right. So I do a lot of interacting and mentoring, and it's pretty much even if we was to like meet up in a neutral spot or something like that, and in other words, like just set up, like meet up somewhere, and then we just introduce each other and get in a conversation, and one thing lead to another. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of that burden can be lifted, with some assistance.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So when I talked to Shanice, I'll see, because even like with Moni, the last time we was on, I did reach out to her when she was talking about her children, because of the father died and the family not stepping up. I did reach out to her to see what is it that we can do about that. She was away. So she's supposed to call me when she get back, so we'll know, steps to do. Do they like poetry? Do what they like to do, so we can, because we really need to step in when we can. So I'm gonna call her when I get off. The iPhone joint, if you would like to talk, you could unmute. It starts 6. We're gonna get off at 7. It's 6:51. And then I think everybody else I called out. Dondre, Sheila Mungeon, she don't have a phone or a microphone. So is there anybody else that would like to say anything before we close out? Crystal? I hear Crystal talk all day, but I see she's up here. Okay, so no one would like to say anything? Crystal?
Right.
Yes.
I was on mute because I'm not home. I'm driving.
Okay, would you want to pray us out?
Yeah, I would like to pray us out, but this conference has really touched my heart, and I love it because it takes a village to raise up a family, to us to come and release being naked and not ashamed. And the greater it gets, the more people will be released, because sometimes we just need to be heard. We don't need to be questioned. We just need to talk it out. You know what I'm saying? One of the brothers got me because that's what Dee Dee said in a couple of conferences earlier on. She was saying we just need to learn how to accept the things, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, I mean, I'm thankful for you, my sister, my baby sister. I'm really grateful for you, because this is going to be bigger than what you can even imagine, because this is what you're establishing outreach. This is an outreach program right here, conference, with grief and dealing with trauma. And that's what it takes, is just, just speaking your truth, speaking your pain, but I love everybody that's on here.
But wait, before you pray us out, because I don't want you to go into the prayer, I want to thank everybody that's up here. Usually what I do when people be like, oh, you let me know short notice. When I send it out a week ahead, life happens and people tend to forget. So I usually send it out Saturday, and then the day of I start hitting everybody at 4 o'clock. But I believe that people that's here is meant to be here. I thank each and every one of you. The one that if it's your first time or whenever I send you the link and you join, I believe that we are here because we're supposed to be here today. I mean, my heart was kind of sad, but y'all helped lift my spirit, and I want to thank y'all. And hopefully, this Zoom is helping y'all as much as it's helping me. Again, I want to be a part of this village. We are the village. I love each and every one up here. And thank you for joining. Go ahead, Crystal. Pray us out.
Father God, right now in the mighty name of Jesus, if all hearts and minds are clear, oh God, even as everyone that spoke the truth, spoke their pains, oh God. Father God, I'm asking you to bring healing now, because only you can do it, oh God.
Yes.
Only you can mend the broken heart right now. In the mighty name of Jesus, oh God, those like my sister Tawana and my sister and I who lost our mothers, and my sister-in-law Boz who lost our mothers, and everyone from the sound of my voice that have their mother. My sister Elaine said it best. Oh, love on them, Father, because your word says when we honor our mother and father, our days will be lengthy. Oh, God, I ask you right now, oh, God, to be with your people, Father. Give them what you gave me, what you gave us when we was grieving, and that was peace.
Yes, yes.
Give us that peace, oh, God, because your peace surpasses all things. Your peace surpasses depression, oh God. And even for that mother that spoke about her daughter, oh God. Father God, I ask you right now to touch her daughter right now, oh God.
Yes, God.
Because you bring life. Oh God, give her, oh God, peace in her mind. Allow her to look at her children, to see their faces, to want to live.
Yes, God.
Oh
Yes.
God, I'm asking you right now to open up a door for unemployment. Open up agencies as Kareem and the rest of the my sister LLC program, how they helping kids. Oh God, God, you be there for them.
Yes.
Touch the mothers, touch the young lady, oh God, because sometimes it be bigger than us. It's bigger than us, oh God, but you can do it. You can do all things but fail.
Yes.
And I ask you right now, all these things right now, in Jesus' name, amen, amen, amen. Be blessed on purpose. I love
Amen.
you all.
Amen. Thank you, Crystal. Love you, Crystal.
Love you more.
Love you, everyone.
Love you
Good
too, Mrs.
night.
Lee. Good night,
Good
everyone.
night.
Let me put some
Good night. Good night.